Cool. All right, so getting things started. Welcome everyone to another episode of the OpenJS Foundation's Cross Project Council meeting. Today is August 19th, 2025. Thanks everybody for joining. Weird, I just got signed out here. Okay, now I'm back in. Sorry. Let's see. Do we have any announcements? Is that where we start? Any announcements, folks?
Yeah, I think we've mentioned JSConf, the whole, I think we've mentioned in the past month, the hotel block was selling out.
Good to remind folks, because it's a reminder for me too.
It looks like that last night is sold, come to me, but otherwise, we're adding some other hotel options. But yeah, y'all need to grab your space and join us. It'll be a blast.
Yeah, that's a good reminder for me too. I've got to get my hotel.
There you go.
Cool. Any board meeting updates? We have a board meeting. I guess we don't have one until September, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. So no updates. Oh, did we have not looked at the deck yet, have we? Dang it.
Hence my comment on the agenda with the question mark.
Where is that? Oh, yes, board deck. I see that.
Not enough hours in the day, but we
I
need to
know, I
squeeze it
know.
in.
Interesting. I don't know what to do. Should we go through that today? Try to like hustle through some of the important stuff in the agenda and then save a good 25 minutes or something for the board deck? Does anyone have any thoughts?
You've got a very packed agenda, so I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe
Maybe
we
punt
should
the
send the board deck around to the email or something, private email. I don't know. All right, if anybody has any thoughts about that, speak up or send them over, drop it in chat, what have you. Otherwise, I will just get going. All right, any updates from staff on any of these items? Waiting on legal info. There's a few things here. Drop it into the chat for folks. Clarify what information is collected about individuals as part of COC incident handling, which is also on the agenda, as well as the COC record keeping, also on the agenda, possible GDPR conflict summary on the agenda, a code of conduct information sharing between the project and foundation, also on the agenda. And then we
I think
also want to
I
run.
can give a quick summary. We met with our data protection officer for the Linux Foundation. Ben and I did center all of the issues beforehand that were related. And essentially, to summarize, and I'll put this in the issues, we have a defined policy. Most organizations do have a defined policy around this, particularly in open source and the foundations. And allowing the process to move forward within one organization like OpenJS and all of its member projects falls under that policy that is documented. And allowing it to move forward is the right thing to do and to share information, and not sharing information could actually be a code of conduct violation as opposed to a privacy incident. So sharing information with the utmost care and discernment is expected as part of our policy and not a violation of GDPR.
Okay, interesting.
Mhm.
Do we think we need to clarify anything anywhere or?
I'll summarize it and put it in all of the issues.
Okay, that would be great. Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, I think Robin, some of that information that we got from our council, I think we can add to some of our documentation
Documentation.
GitHub. Yeah.
Mhm.
Great. Okay, thank you. So that's waiting on legal info, waiting on, staff update is the resources GitHub's Dev Connect program. I don't know if there's any update on that or anything.
Other than feedback was given to the GitHub team via Abby.
Okay.
I haven't heard back since, so.
Okay, great. So we're just kind of waiting to hear back from them, on this one then?
Mhm.
Okay. All right, great. Cool. Then I will jump into the, agenda here. I moved this one up to the top because, I think we did this last working session. And, I don't know if this is, if there's anything. I mean, I guess Chris, Alameda, you have a comment here from 2 weeks ago, and I'm not sure if we got.
Which item? Sorry.
Which one?
Oh, sorry, 1374. This is the, migrate project status back here. Drop it in the chat.
Oh, this was the thing we were working on the last working session.
Yeah, yeah, and I just wonder.
So we moved everything and then. Okay, so where we ended up with this and we didn't update this comment or, wait a minute. Okay, sorry. This is from 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Our working session was last week. Okay, so we
Yeah.
didn't post in here. Basically, we did the transfer and then we went through a couple of the issues. And where we sort of ended up was that Kate was going through a process of basically kind of what the with quite a bit of overlap on what our goal was with these, which was to, hey, we have these old checklists of for onboarding projects and who, some of them are like 5 years old plus, and like we don't know what the state is. It may be different today than it was even then, and who knows what's going on. And so I think what we had discussed was to just let Kate go through the process that she was already going through with I'm not sure what that effort is called or whatever. I don't know if it's auditing or etc.
Yeah.
But we were just going to let that play out and then revisit once that was all done. And I don't know what that looks like in terms of revisiting, whether it's taking the findings that she has and updating those issues or whatever. But it just sounded like we didn't want to like duplicate efforts and just let her do her job, which was yeah. Does that sound familiar to? I see heads nodding.
Yes,
so
yeah.
I assume I'm
And
not
essentially, yeah, and
totally
she's not doing like holistically project by project. We may take in issues. It's very important to make sure like all of our IP agreements are documented and filed and just so taking really important things and working across all. But yeah, she's got an entire spreadsheet tracking a number of open, we call it the onboarding issues and some of the projects that joined the foundation as part of the merger just never quite completed all the processes. So
Yeah, so maybe we want to remove the labels from this issue.
Let's see. So
Unless we do want to talk about this, every meeting.
no, I don't think so. And I don't know if it really needs to be a working session anymore either, but I don't. Because I feel like Kate's kind of
Yeah.
got two things that were, they're related, but the auditing and then also us figuring out how to communicate with the maintainers, this batch of things, which I think we have another issue for. But yeah, I guess it makes sense to take those labels off for now. And maybe I'll even assign Kate. That makes sense.
yep.
Okay. All right, great. So now at least it's on someone's sort of.
We could probably rename the issue now to something more accurate. Since everything's moved and now the goal is sort of shifted slightly, but we don't have to hold this up to.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, Chris,
Figure that out.
maybe just dropping a little summary in there and then you can update the title if you want. That would be awesome.
Sure.
Sure. Thank you for volunteering you. Cool. All right, so moving on, we have a couple of project charters here. The Geoda one, this is issue 1496. Where's my window? And this was open June 25th. Charter was approved by Geoda Project TSC last month. Looks like 2 weeks ago, Ben, you shared the PR specifically. I'm not seeing any further comments on this. So I guess maybe the ask is for folks to just go through and review the charter. Yeah. For that one. And then let me pull up the other
Can we
one.
give a time box on that? It has been open for quite some time.
It's been open for quite some time, but I think that it's really only been available for not as long of a time, a month.
Okay.
But I agree. Let's get this done. Similarly, the native script charter. Where are we on this one? This is issue 1467. Drop it in the chat here. Toby commented there's some comments from last week. There's no objections. So Jordan, you had a comment about does not allow lifetime appointments.
Yeah, from what I can recall, because I don't have it pulled up right now, there was a few iterations of basically where they it wasn't clear how you could call a vote. It wasn't coherent how you could call a vote, and I think they fixed that. But then it seems like at any point having the ability to appoint someone like to the Supreme Court, essentially, that we know why that is. Why not having any recourse for that sucks. And if anybody who's on the TSC, if this gets approved, anyone who's on the TSC now can stay on it forever, and they can't be they could argue that they can't be retroactively that they can't retroactively have a time limit imposed on them. Now, hopefully, no one would, but it seems like a tweak that could be made that would prevent that from ever being a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fair point. I would just note that I think that this isn't uncommon for projects to not have like a time limit enshrined. There is stuff in there about that they can be removed, like by consensus,
That's true.
and that they can be reconsidered if a member misses 2 or more monthly meetings. So it's not like they can't be removed.
Yeah. Oh, and I don't
want to remove them. Right?
I don't care if there's no time limit, right? Like it's fine if they don't want an implicit time limit, but like having yearly recertification or something, it's just like the default should be that they are removed. And just like Node does it this way for moderation, at least. And that way, but it's insanely easy to stay. You just say, "Yep, I'm still here," and nobody says, "But you suck." Like, and then you continue, right? It's just sort of a natural checking, like it's like a simple check and balance thing built in there that adds virtually no overhead. It could be every 5 years, I don't know, but like yearly seems clean. That's like I'm not trying to insist on the mechanism. It just like seems like something. Go ahead, Chris. You can jump in.
Oh no, I mean I didn't mean to interrupt. Yeah, no, I think your point's fair. I don't know that we would want to block them.
Yeah, I'm not blocking on it, and I was very careful in my choice of words to say like you can proceed without this, but you probably shouldn't, which is my opinion. But like, yeah.
Yeah. I do actually see a problem that I think is more significant that we might want to block on. And I'm sorry, I know this has been open for a while and it has multiple approvals, possibly including my own, but I didn't notice this until now. There's a couple of places where it mentions that consensus requires at least 5 TSC members to be present to approve a new member, and same thing with removing a member. And while there's no specification on the maximum size of the TSC, there's I don't believe there's anything in here about the minimum size of the TSC. So if you have a TSC of 4 members, you can't actually do business according to this charter.
Okay,
So
that's important
if
to
you're
call out.
going to say you have a 5-member minimum requirement for these things, then you need to specify what's the minimum size of the TSC. Because if your minimum size is 5, that's not good enough. You need to either reduce that minimum, or, you know what I mean? Something's got to give there. And this seems like something that needs to be fixed before we can approve this.
I think it's a good point. If you want to call that out in there, that would be great, and then we can leave this on the agenda and
Sure.
hopefully couple back in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I thought that one would be done, but carries on.
Sorry, I almost didn't really want to say anything, but like once I noticed it, I can't not.
Yeah, well, that's an important one, I think. So very good. All right, here's a fun one. 1584, update decision-making criterion for impact stage graduation. Chris, do you want to you open this one? It's pull request.
Yeah, let's talk about this one, hopefully briefly. So for just some background, this came up when Express was trying to go to impact stage. And there was some, like, the project progression, as you can see in the PR. It would be helpful to pull up the PR if anybody wants to screen share. So the project progression criterion for, or one of them, is to receive a supermajority vote from the CPC. And we didn't want to change this for Express because, we don't want any impropriety in terms of, oh, we want to change the process because we're trying to do something. But it was sort of clear in our discussions in the CPC that, like, this was kind of not in keeping with the general decision-making process that we wanted to follow, and we agreed to make this change to, follow the regular decision-making process of the CPC rather than this supermajority thing that was in here. So we all agreed to do that, but nobody created a PR to actually update the language in here. So that's what I did. Now, the plot has thickened a little bit, and I think it's at least partially due to, I included these sub bullet points here. And unfortunately, Toby's not here, but I think largely in part of these sub bullets that I just included for consistency with sort of similar things in the CPC charter, that create an issue and it's open for 14 days. But this seemed to like open a bit of a can of worms, and then Toby wanted to kind of shore up some of the governance documentation, and so he created this other PR, and it's closed now. But if you look in that, there's a bunch of back and forth between me and Toby on, well, if we're referencing this, like, this isn't quite accurate, or this doesn't work for these situations. And my take on this was that, like, sure, like, if we need to do some cleanup and some reorganization, I think that's a worthwhile thing to do. But like, the extent of the changes would mean that this would take us weeks, months to resolve all these different things and get input from people and iterate. And again, those are fine things to do, but we agreed to make this change nearly a year ago now. And I think it's important that we would get the criterion updated for project progression, and then move on to more extensive sort of governance changes, charter changes. Again, that stuff, some of that stuff needs to go through the board. And if it's important stuff that we need to address, that's fine. I just felt like we shouldn't hold up the change that's already been held up almost a year to the project progression criteria. Never really circled back on this with Toby. I had that last comment that you see there about, hey, maybe it's better to remove these 2 sub bullet points. Does that help resolve the concerns about the, having different documents and referring to different stuff and too much overlap or duplication or inconsistency. And Toby didn't respond. So I don't know. So it would be great to land at least the first bullet point. Honestly, the 2 second bullet points were really in my mind nice to haves. I don't think that like a project going to impact stage is going to happen accidentally and like, with a PR open for 24 hours and suddenly they're approved and like, without the right oversight and consensus from the CPC. So I'm, in the interest of just like, hey, let's update this because we agreed to update this. And so the next project that moves to impact doesn't have to follow this archaic process. I propose that we just merge that first bullet point. I can update that. Anyway, I've said a lot of things. What do folks think?
Just generally speaking, I like the idea of removing the two, and then and we can merge this, like you said, it's been a while, and then maybe if we can capture some of the other discussion points in an issue, we can kind of go from there. I don't know what you think of that. If you think that the other points are worth trying to address. Because I'm not sure exactly what Toby had in that other governance PR and such, so. Y'all can hear me, right? Okay.
Oh, sorry, I'm on mute.
Oh, there you go.
In the other PR, it did, among other things, like in the charter, there's some content about how charters are approved, for example, and it talks about the 14 days. And so Toby had updated it to say for charter changes and project movement. But like it spiraled. It created these other, well, this doesn't really apply to project progression. And like there's a whole bunch of loose ends that needed to be getting tied up. And again, I'm not opposed to doing those things, but like it's like scope creep, right? It's a lot more stuff that we have to figure out. And all the while we're blocking changing our process, which again, we agreed to change nearly a year ago. So I think that the first bullet point change in the original PR that just changes the language from super majority vote to obtaining approval. It's very general, to obtain approval following the decision-making process. And then we remove those 2 sub-bullet points about, that are more, granular process sort of things. And if we want to add that into the mix, we can follow up later with, maybe more in line with the changes that Toby was proposing.
Okay.
So if that sounds reasonable to folks,
It does.
I can go ahead and push up that change. And then if I notice, I think that the CPC was tagged for review, but nobody else ever chimed in. So if people could take a look once I push that up.
Yep.
And maybe give your thumbs up or thumbs down, that would be awesome.
Sounds good. All right, excellent. Thank you, Chris. I will just keep sharing here. So we are here. I think Robin, you were kind of talking about this sort of stuff, right? So we can kind of skip over that. I remember talking about this and this one not being exactly clear what the ask is here. So I don't know if this needs to be on the agenda or what is going on with this one. Does anybody know?
Yeah, I think there was some documentation that was locked in a proprietary tool. And I said, we don't do that documentation on GitHub.
Mhm.
So I think they were sorting that out, trying to unravel that. So
Okay. Do you think this needs the cross-project council?
CPC? No, I don't believe so.
All right. Great. What is this one? So part of Kate's work perhaps to audit and reach out to folks? Yep, okay. I think this is actually part of the other one too, that you had discussed, Robin, right? I don't know where we are with this one.
I actually started drafting something the other day, so why don't I create a draft? That's how we tend to
Yeah.
sort of lightweight when we open these collab spaces. So I will do that. And then we've had some hands raised who want to join, and then we will throw some mud on the wall on scheduling and see where we land. But I think, yeah,
Perfect.
take that action.
I remember we kind of discussed this, but I don't know where we landed. This is the AI assisted development of the working session. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's action items on this or what next steps are or anything like that. But we can leave it for now if we want and touch base next time. Unless anybody has anything they want to do on that one. I'm trying to, we got 12 minutes, so just trying to plow through this. So this I think is still just sort of waiting on Claudio.
They're in full execution mode, so I don't know if they need CPC feedback, but hopefully they'll share best practices. But yeah, I don't see it as something that
Okay, perfect.
CPC needs. Yeah.
Yeah. This we kind of just need to go through, I think, as we kind of update on some of these code of conduct remaining action items. This one we've talked about. Kate's working on auditing and prepping for maintainer updates. I think this is also part of the code of conduct remaining work that still needs to happen. Be quiet, I'm working. Anything else on any of these things that we need to talk about? Any of these remaining agenda items? I don't know if there is. If not, you know, the last question usually to raise is, what do we want to work on next week for the working session? I feel like it might not be bad to dig into the code of conduct stuff and really try to wrap all of that up, you know, updating to the new contributor covenant thing. Although, do we have kind of open questions on that still that we're looking to work through?
No, I know in our security meeting yesterday, we talked about doing like a quarterly town hall to help share information to maintainers. We do that now on an ad hoc basis when we have new programs, but if we start implementing quarterly, I think it would be nice to have as much stuff buttoned up as possible that we can push out.
Yeah, yeah, and that would be a great opportunity to push, you know, batch up things to push out, and then also make folks aware of other ways that they may get these sort of updates via email or
Yep.
what. Okay. Yeah, so do we want to do COC stuff next week? Try to really kind of button any of the remaining action items on that up.
Yeah,
So,
especially I think version 3 is coming out shortly, right, Joe? So that would be good.
yeah, I mean, I think it's already officially out, and they're going
Okay.
to do a town hall or something soon. So, okay, good. COC, last remaining action items and such. Okay. Great. Anything else with our remaining 8 or 9 minutes we want to talk about? If not, then I guess we'll call it a wrap. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate y'all being on and helping get the work done.
Great. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye.